home. The likelihood of being hurt by someone who's got a mental illness is way less than getting struck by lightning.
Happy TV is based in New York City. And these days, we all know that there have been a lot of crimes perpetrated by people where in the news they say that this person has had a history of receiving services in mental health. When it comes to your mental health linked to violent crime, especially the crimes that we've been seeing in New York City, well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Happy TV Reacts. Hello, everyone. It's me, Ife Sams, New York State Certified Peer Specialist and host of the show, Are You Happy? Welcome back, everybody. I'm very interested in what we're going to be reacting to today. It's a video that I've been wanting to react to for a while now. Psychiatrist Breaks Down Psychotic Episodes in Movies. So I'm just another human being, like the next person, but I'm also a person with lived experience with psychosis and a lived experience with, going through a mental health crisis. And so I wanted to, in particular, watch this video from the standpoint of what might some other explanations be for why this person in whatever movie scene we're watching could be going through this psychotic episode. So, and I say that in air quotes because psychosis is a clinical term that means something very specific. Now, outside of the clinical world, is there another way to talk and address this experience that this person is having? Is this person, the psychiatrist, even going to be explaining it from that perspective? Are they even going to be talking about it from certain reasons or even that sort of way? So we're going to find that out together. Now, from videos I've seen from GQ before using this same psychiatrist, this is a psychiatrist who actually works as a forensic psychiatrist. That anytime you hear the word forensic, that means criminal. So anybody who has committed a crime, and for the most part, these are people who have been court mandated to either go to some sort of forensic psychiatric facility. So that means that they live essentially in a hospital where they're being monitored by forensic psychiatrists. Let's see what this has to offer, huh? Why don't we?
Okay. You wanna play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
They said hello to his little friend. That's actually a line that's kind of funny because cocaine can also cause erectile dysfunction. That's something to just keep in mind while this is going on.
I cannot.
I'm Dr. Eric Bender. I'm a psychiatrist who specializes in child, adolescent, adult, and forensic psychiatry.
First of all, why do you have to say that? Why do you have to open the video like that? I don't really understand that. Anywho, I'm not here to criticize.
First up, Fight Club.
Everything's far away. Everything's a copy of a copy of a copy.
This is very common with sleep deprivation. When you have sleep deprivation, you can first start to get very confused. And then after time, you can have some delusions and some hallucinations. And maybe that's why we actually see Tyler Durden more and more present, because he's more and more sleep deprived. I'm
familiar with the movie Fight Club. One of the other things that I did want to see is how realistic is the portrayal of this stuff? Because obviously when movies talk about mental illness, there is often that element of exaggeration, making things fantastical, turning things into something that realistically the person is probably not gonna experience. In terms of what he's saying, like, sure, when you're sleep deprived, that's very, very much a state of vulnerability. It's the insomnia. I would want to understand why this person is having a hard time sleeping. Like, we talked about this in the bonus episode of reacting to my 10-year-old self. We talked about that. Insomnia has reasons for it. I would love to understand a little bit more about why this person isn't sleeping. They got a hug. They had this group that they were a part of, they had this cathartic experience where they were able to cry and feel their emotions, and that helped them to sleep. That's so directly linked. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When you are not able to sleep, sure, you might start thinking that you're seeing things, hearing voices, that kind of thing. Absolutely. Just as human beings need rest, that sort of thing definitely can happen because we are not giving ourselves, or we do not have the things that we need as humans. I think, though, that the element of seeing a whole other different person that's not there, because you're sleep deprived, and the elements that come up in the movie Fight Club where it's a completely different person and the narrator thinks that they're a completely different person is, I think, exaggerated, because I don't think that's a realistic portrayal of what happens with psychosis. For the most part, when it comes to hallucinations, with psychosis, at least I could speak for myself and also from other people's experiences. Yeah, when you see things, it isn't exactly like a completely different world. It's more like something that is blended into your real world. It's not like you're completely someplace else when there's psychosis. So it's a little unrealistic. That's all I'm going to say. But let's keep watching. Thank you, everyone, for watching Happy TV Reacts. Up next, stay tuned for a message about our crowdfunding campaign, coming to you live from Kickstarter in the months of July and August, where we will be fundraising to fund Are You Happy Season 1. Stay tuned.
In this world of mental health, all these labels and diagnoses, understanding it all seems so grim. However will I comprehend it? How must I support people through it?
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Down here!
Yes?
Tell me something. What you know about depression?
Is that when you're sad?
Pathetic! How about bipolar disorder? Schizophrenia? Borderline personality? Come on! What you gonna do with all that ignorance?
I guess not much.
Nothing! The church was called to be a vehicle of freedom for people with struggles in their mental health. Not ignorance, pushing it off, saying, oh, let a doctor handle that. No! You handle it! Don't worry, kid. Are You Happy can help. Here, take this.
Season 1 of Are You Happy needs your help to make it happen. Consider becoming a donor today to our crowdfunding campaign and help make the church a place of healing and hope for people who struggle with their mental health.
You be careful with that now. Side effects include enlightenment, empowerment, and self-awareness.
Become empowered today. Donate to Happy TV this summer.
You know what, kid? You'll be all right.
Shutter Island.
Let's put them at the table, Andrew.
She's talking about her kids who are deceased as if they can be living dolls. She has had a history in the movie of bipolar disorder, and it sounds like she either had hallucinations or some delusional beliefs about killing her children. It's not clear. A colleague of mine had a 14-year-old boy who was psychotic, and the boy actually asked him, so am I gonna become a serial killer now? That's not what we need to teach people, that because there's mental illness, there's violence. Home, the likelihood of being hurt by someone who's got a mental illness is way less than getting struck by lightning.
Okay, so this is good. So he's talking about the likelihood of somebody with mental illness committing a crime. Not necessarily committing a crime, but being violent. And that it is not likely, not as likely. And this is what I want to say. One of the things that we definitely were trained as peer specialists to understand is that somebody who's diagnosed with mental illness is more likely to become the victim of a crime than to be the perpetrator of a crime. And that in movies and television, yes, oftentimes people are viewed as people who will be violent. Now, one thing I do want to say is that Happy TV is based in New York City. And these days, we all know that there have been a lot of crimes perpetrated by people where in the news they say that this person has had a history of receiving services in mental health, and that this person has not been taking medication, this person has not been this person has not been that. And one thing that I will say, as somebody who knows what it's like to go through a crisis, when it comes to your mental health linked to violent crime, especially the crimes that we've been seeing in New York City, mental illness does not make you do that kind of thing in the same nature and in the same way that a lot of people have been committing these crimes. For example, what we have been seeing in New York City is a lot of men committing crimes against the elderly, committing crimes against women. So pushing women downstairs in front of trains, just brutally attacking women. I'm sorry, that is not mental illness, guys. That is somebody who understands that a smaller person than them cannot fight back. That is someone who is absolutely victimizing and is out to victimize somebody. That is not somebody stricken with mental illness. I just want to say that, period. Mental illness actually victimizes the person that it afflicts. Mental illness itself, and I might shake some people up here. Mental illness does not create perpetrators. If someone, for example, maybe in the past was diagnosed with some sort of mental illness and then goes on to perpetrate a crime like that, okay, this is a perpetrator who has a history of receiving services in mental health. That's it. But then to say that all this person needs is to go into treatment for mental illness, sorry, buddy. There is no amount of treatment that is going to convince a person who understands fully what they are doing that it's just a problem in their brain or they have some sort of mental illness. It's a different type of illness to do that kind of thing. This is something I've been wanting to say for a while now. Mental illness victimizes the person that it afflicts. If somebody knows very well which sort of victim to choose, this is not a result of mental illness. Okay? So that is, not the same thing as the sort of crimes that we have been seeing in New York City. So I definitely want to bring that to mind.
What Andrew ends up doing in killing her, he then ends up in this forensic setting on Shutter Island. That's a little unlikely in reality. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing is wrong, and he's even crying about killing her after. He knows what's going on. That means you would not qualify for a not guilty by reason of insanity defense.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say, guys, is that I believe, personally, this is Ife talking, I believe that the idea of, oh, well, they're mentally ill, I've seen it in reality. Like, I've known people to use this as a reason to get off of a crime, is if they maybe had a history of mental illness or a history of receiving services in mental health, then it's used in the justice system as a loophole a lot of times. And I'm not gonna lie, I think that if somebody didn't know what they were doing, then they didn't know what they were doing. But I have also seen in reality, in my real life, that it's used as a loophole to claim, oh, well, I wasn't on my medication. And I've even asked someone that I knew personally who used this defense in a crime that they committed. And I said, did you know what you were doing when you robbed those people? And he said, yeah. So you think that that's it? Like, or the idea that somebody had a history with mental health. Okay, so does that mean that this person should not go to jail? Does that mean this person is not a danger to society? What do you think? Come on, comment down below. What do you think? Do you think that people who have a history in mental health, receiving services in mental health, that no matter what the crime is, that this is a person who should, I don't know, go to a hospital or something and receive, this is the thing, right? I would say if somebody thought that hurting somebody else, that there is nothing wrong with that. I understand this is a situation where someone could say, well, they didn't think that they were doing something wrong. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who, for some reason, do not feel that hurting people is wrong. These people, I don't believe, should be able to roam free in our society. Is that strange for me to say this on a Happy TV video? I do not believe that they should be roaming free in our society. Like, I also do not believe that a psychiatric environment is going to help this person. This is how I feel. This is my personal feelings. I do not believe a psychiatric facility is appropriate for somebody who does not believe that it's wrong to hurt someone else. I think that just regular old jail is appropriate. That's how I feel. So while this guy's talking, one of the things that I'm wondering is, in our society, we see psychiatrists as being these, and just doctors in general as being these experts. And I think that when it comes to certain fields, there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that when it comes to people's experiences and their emotions, it's like I'm hearing him talk and I'm just wondering, why do we go to a doctor who has never been in this situation themselves? And why do we ask this person for their opinion versus somebody who has gone through it? I just kind of wonder why we do that, because GQ does these series of videos and I really like them. GQ has videos from people who have gone and been like bank robbers and they're reacting to bank robbery scenes in movies. I think that's amazing because you're using that person's lived experience. What I don't really understand, and this is nothing against this psychiatrist. It's just telling about our society as a whole, where we are more willing to go to someone who is clinically trained and has no lived experience going through these things, asking them for their opinion about something that they've never even experienced. That I I much more view someone who has been through it themselves, someone who has healed, and someone who now is using their story as so much more of an expert than a psychiatrist or a doctor who has no clue what it's like to go through this stuff, just has maybe studied it or maybe seen other people go through it. I mean, I want to hear from someone who actually has experienced dissociative identity disorder, who actually knows what it's like to have alters, for them to tell us, is this realistic or not? Someone who's actually been through psychosis, you tell me, is this realistic or not? Someone who knows what it's like to be suicidal. Have you been through that? Then you know what it's like. You're the expert. One thing I want to say is that it's not a coincidence that we see these people are in states of isolation. These are all people who are very solitary, who are not a part of a greater community for the most part. Fight Club, there is that sense of having community, which the funny thing is, someone having a community is extremely helpful when it comes to healing through mental illness. And so the idea that this person is still going through a crisis makes me wonder. But at the same time, too, it's part of the story. And there's a fantastical element. There's a dramatization that happens in any movie, in any fiction, in any TV show that's, geared around this kind of thing, expressing what's unseen. It's going to have a fantastical element to it. So that's just natural. So what did you think? That's Happy TV Reacts. A human reacts to psychiatrists breaking down psychotic episodes. Really, it's not necessarily that he's giving us particular insight into healing per se, but he's telling us what he knows, which, he communicated what he knows. He communicated how he's been trained very clearly and I think effectively. And there's nothing wrong with that. Well, that's that. I think if there's anything else if you have any ideas of videos that I can react to, please leave them in the comment section or, send me a message on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Are You Happy TV? Well, that's the end of the video, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment down below about what you thought about this video. What did you think about the psychiatrist reacting to these scenes in movies? Did you feel like it was interesting to you to learn something about how psychiatrists are trained and what they understand? And what I think is interesting is that he was able to bring about that the justice system perspective and his understanding about how the justice system works in his state. When it comes to crime, especially when it comes to people who plead not guilty by way of mental illness, which I thought was interesting. Or at least I can understand how that's helpful to someone. Let's put it that way, to get to learn about. Alrighty, so I don't have anything else, I don't think. So like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload, and keep us in prayer, please, because like I said, by the time we meet again next week, our Kickstarter will be taking off in the months of July and August, and we will be fundraising to produce the first full season of Are You Happy? Are You Happy humanizes mental health one diagnosis at a time. Every episode, we tackle one diagnosis and we talk about it from many different angles, including empowering and educating the church into how does the Bible tell us how to tackle this stuff, how to support people, how to see our lives, how to see ourselves as human beings. And that helps us when it comes to healing through mental illness, and that helps us when it comes to being able to support people who go through that kind of thing. So come along with us, follow us along, be with us, support us through that journey. We are empowering the church to be that light that the Lord has died to make us in this world, in this dark, dark world, especially in the dark world of mental illness and mental health. So, that's all for now. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Maybe it was a little tough for me to make, I feel, but I'm still gonna put it out, girl. It don't matter. Again, I was Ife Sams, and this was Happy TV Reacts. Take care now. Enjoy your time. We will be meeting again next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.